Souls, did you know that fears and witch wounds have you self-sabotaging and holding you back or blocking the abundance in your healing business that you are desiring? So, hey, my name is Kristen Jones. If you are new here, my name is, like I said, it's Kristen Jones. Hey, Morgan. Hey, guys, as you are hopping on, make sure that you say hi, tell me where you are. If your name is not your IG handle, let me know what your name is so I know how to address you. I'm a spiritual business coach for healers and intuitive Reiki Grand Master, and I am the healer's healer. It is my mission to support healers in going from hidden healer to here the fuck I am healer. I am so excited to talk about this topic. Hey girl. And so as we are going through some of this, I want you to interact with me. First of all, if you're watching the replay, drop replay so I know and I can give you some love. I'm a Gemini. I love to talk to you. I love to communicate back and forth. And so let's make sure that this is interactive. So, and also if something is coming up for you, if you're having a fear that is coming up for you around your healing business, around being a healer, around the witch wounds or anything of that nature, make sure that you comment below and let me know so we can address those. If you're live, I will stay on live as long as I can. I have about 20 minutes. That's about the max because I got to go get my kids. That's my real life right there. So let's go ahead and dive in. First of all, we all know, you guys probably already know this by now, that fears are not real. Like some of them are. Okay, let me backtrack and say that the fears that we often feel in business are not life and death, right? Our subconscious and our unconscious mind does a really amazing job of keeping us alive. It does a really great job of keeping us safe, which is extremely useful, right? It's so useful. And so it's also not super useful when we think about some of the things that we do even on a daily basis that have us stopping in our tracks from doing the things that we desire, like going live, like pushing send on the message, like going out and doing a post on social media, like doing the TikTok, like starting the business, like creating the program, like getting the program out there into the world. These fears are holding us back from our next level. So let's dive into the witch wounds. Why don't you comment below? Hey, Christiane. Hey, guys. I hope you're having an amazing start to your new year. It has been forever since I've been on live, by the way. Okay, so I have my notes pulled up here because otherwise I will just scroll out and I'll just talk about all the things and won't even cover the actual reason why I'm here. So let's cover the witch wounds, but what I want you to do is I want you to comment below and tell me, what is a fear that you are having around starting your healing business or doing a post or, whatever it is that is holding you back? What is that fear that's coming up for you? And I want you to comment below if you're live or you're watching the replay and tell me. Because it's a little bit different for all of us, but it was interesting. Last night I was on a group coaching call for Launch Your Healing Business Academy, and one of my students had a couple different things that we were diving into mindset, because this is a very soulful strategy based program. However, mindset and energetics comes up. That's just part of it's just part of business, of being an entrepreneur, right? It's actually a really great growth journey that we get to have as an entrepreneur. But we addressed like one thing in full, spent quite a chunk of time going over it, diving into it, reflecting, giving her different, perspectives and shifting and releasing. And then she's like, oh, but I have this other thing coming up. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk about this. And she was like, actually, after she was talking about it, she's like, actually, it's stemming from the same thing. And it's interesting because our fears are the same, right? It's not always, but our fears are very similar in the sense that oftentimes where we think it's like, all these separate things, but really it's like, okay, it's like funneling into like maybe these couple instances. And when it's getting hot in here, I close the door. I have a tank top on under this. It's like 20 degrees out. I don't know. It's just really hot in this room. So anyway, So it's fascinating that, when we think about all these different things, we're like, oh my God, this scares the shit out of me. Oh my God, this scares the shit out of me. Oh my God, there's no fucking way I can do that because that scares the shit out of me. But really, it's like typically I see that it's a couple of things with working with healers. And so, I love this one. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the fear or some of the witch wounds, and then I want to address. So definitely let me know if you guys have some different fears that are coming up as well. So first of all, what are the witch wounds and why does it even fucking matter? Right? Like, why should we care about the witch wounds? Here's what I know to be true. So I haven't yet shared my past life regression experience that I had about 5 years ago. It was freaking wild and it blew my mind, and it also made me think, was that real? Like, there's no freaking way that was actually real. But the more time that passed, the more I realized, yeah, I really feel like there's no way I could make this up. And so why should we care about these witch wounds, and how do they show up? Like, what are the witch wounds anyway? So I'm going to dive into this in my masterclass that is actually next week. Link is in the bio. I've been talking about it on my stories. Definitely check out the information, but I am going to dive into exactly what the witch wounds are. I'm going to do this in depth. We're going to dive deep into what the top 5 witch wounds that I typically see, and we're going to dive deep into like what I know about them, and then we're going to take it a step further, and I'm going to give you some actionable steps to be able to begin this healing process. I'm also going to guide you through a past life regression meditation that I'm so stoked for, and it's going to be infused with intuitive Reiki. And it's going to be a whole freaking vibe. So check out that. The link is in my bio for that. Okay, so the next thing is, why should we even care? Because if you are a healer, which if you're here, I already know that you're a healer, typically we do carry the witch wound, whether this is generational or a soul level. It is part of who we are. And yeah, I'm so excited for it too. Christiana's in. Let's see if I notice anybody else that's on. I don't see anyone else. I've had a couple people sign up here in the past 30 minutes or so, which has been a lot of fun. So anyway, they are generational or at a soul level, like I said. So it's either you were a witch in a past life, or you actually lived in the lifetime where you were a healer and perceived as a witch, right? And whatever it was, whether it was you were shunned or you were pushed outside of the crowd or people turned against you, and maybe you were even killed for being a witch. I know that was my story. And so it could be that, or I've had some conversations with some people who are like, I don't feel like I was a witch, but I definitely feel like it comes from lineage. And this can be the case as well, where you have generational wounding. It's literally like in your DNA, where it's like, this was passed to me from a family member. So it wasn't necessarily that you were a witch, but rather someone in your lifetime was a witch, and now we carry those wounds. There is one specific wound that people are not really talking about that I'm like, this is big deal. This is a big deal. I'm not going to tell you that yet. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to tell you that yet. Okay, so I want to talk about the 5 ways that witch wounds are showing up in your healing business. So the first one is fear of being seen and heard. How many of you, I want you to throw me some emojis or hit the heart button or whatever, and tell me, do you have a hard time speaking your truth? Do you have a hard time saying what it is that you want to say or need to say? Do you struggle with being frozen in the witch wound? And like, you're afraid of judgment of what might happen if you say something that is out of line, or if you show up and share your gifts, if you put yourself out there, like what might actually happen. And it literally freezes you. You guys, I was certified in Reiki for, I couldn't even tell you, 6 to 9 months, I want to say. I told one of my clients yesterday 6 months, but I think it was around the 6 to 9 months before I even started offering services. I was ready. I was terrified because what was going to happen if somebody saw that I was doing like this energy healing? Like, how do we even put it into words so people actually understand what the hell I'm saying or what it is that I'm doing, and that I'm not actually doing witchcraft or voodoo and let me tell you, there is nothing wrong with doing witchcraft. I come from a space of light and love, so I personally only work with the light. I know that there is a balance. We got to understand that there's light and dark, but I only work with the light when it comes to witchcraft. But I was terrified. It literally stopped me. It literally inhibited the abundance that was trying to come into my world. So it also leads you to like this feeling of, I'm just going to sit down and shut up. Like, I'm just going to obey because that's what good girls do. And like, I don't want to rock the boat, and I don't want to, like, I don't even want to find out what's going to happen if I open my mouth and speak my truth, right? So the other one is imposter syndrome. This one is huge. Who the fuck am I to share this ability? Will anyone actually believe that I can do this? Like, this isn't something that we can actually, most of the time, like our tarot, crystals, the tangible things, but our abilities of like channeling or psychic or telepathy or, Reiki, any kind of energetic work that we do, they can't see that. Some people can see that, but I believe that we all have the ability to see energy. We do. It's just we're not tapping into it, right? Sometimes, a lot of the times, I will turn mine off, especially like when I'm driving. I'm like, this is too much. And so this can come from memories of lifetimes before where people feared your witchcraft. They feared your healing abilities. They feared what you were capable of. You were actually a powerful being. You were a powerful soul that has the abilities to do these, whatever it is that your innate soul ability is and your soul gifts are, right? And so, when we think about what happened, like during the witch hunts, right, where we were sharing our gifts, our abilities, people were coming to us for healing and clarity and things that it is that we are wanting or already doing in this lifetime, right? And then they would turn against you. They turned against you, and it was really to save themselves. And so it's like this fear of fraudulent, of the fear of being a fraud. And this can lead to, you undervaluing and even undercharging your services. Healers, you guys undercharge yourselves. Sometimes I look at your prices and I'm like, no, you need to raise your prices. You need to raise your prices. And I'm not saying to like raise, let me just go on this tangent for just a second. I'm not saying charge whatever. I'm saying charge what feels aligned. You deserve and you are worthy of being abundantly supported and paid for your gifts and abilities and your time too. So the next one is you're not in your true authenticity. And so you're actually not being true to yourself and to others. It's almost like you're living two different lives, right? Like in the, like, I want to say in the darkness, but that's not, like, I don't know why that's trying to come through, but like when you're alone, you're one person, and when you're out in the world, you're someone totally different. How can we mold this together? How can we make this cohesive? How do we like bring this together so you are one? You're one with yourself. No matter how exhausting is it to keep that up, to just not like really fully shine and truly not having these deep connections that we know that we are capable of. There's a hint on one of the ones that people are not talking about. It's almost like you fear being the truest version of yourself because you don't fit the mold of what a healer is supposed to be, or like whatever the fuck that means, right? Or if you do stand up and shine out on what it is that you are at a soul level, or, who you are, that you're going to be perceived as different, or people are not going to accept you, right? I know this one was huge for me. I'm pointing at my notes like you can see them. This was a huge one for me. I cuss. I love rock music. I love hard rock. Some of my favorite bands are Shinedown, Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch. I'm trying to think of Papa Roach, Bad Wolves, Falling in Reverse. You know, you get the point, right? Like, I love to go to concerts. I love to be up front, and I love to rock my ass off. I got my septum pierced finally in August with one of my best friends. It's something that I had been thinking about for a long time. I just was like, I don't know, like, I don't want to be made fun of, or I don't want people to perceive me as different, and honestly, I don't really give a fuck anymore. I don't. Why? Because I have spent time diving into and healing these wounds that are coming up within myself and giving myself the opportunity to unapologetically be me. What has happened in return? I feel like I've liberated myself from the chains. Abundance aside, I mean, we could look at abundance actually. No, let's not put it aside. Let's bring it to the center. This is not just abundance in finances. This is abundance in love, self-love, and love overall. This is abundance in, in really any area that we want abundance to, right? And now I get to have that. Yes, even shit hits the fan because I'm human and having a human experience and are surrounded by other humans who are also having human experiences. So yes, I still live a real life. Okay, so the next witch wound. What is this, number 3? Okay. 4. Lied. 4. So, comparison. So you're looking around at everyone else. Maybe you're even stalking other healers. Do you ever find yourself stalking other healers, thinking that they're better than you? This actually came up on my Business Academy call last night. She's like, I feel like they're better than me. They're further along with me. Their gifts are cooler, or their gifts are more advanced. They're stronger. They have stronger abilities. They have more of a following. They're making more money, blah, blah, blah. This leaves you feeling like a fraud or feeling like an imposter, right? So do you ever find yourself comparing? And then undercharging for your services. So this looks like, I already talked about this one. I didn't realize that this was in my notes. Squirrel syndrome, so it's fine. Playing it small with charging too little for your gifts. And look, I'm guilty of these as well. I'm not just here calling you out. I have been there too. I have been there. Or maybe it's even you're afraid to put yourself out there in the first place. Truly not understanding that you are worthy. You are worthy of being paid for your time, your energy, your gifts, and your abilities. And you are allowed to charge what feels abundant and aligned for you. So that is 5 ways that the witch wounds are showing up in your healing business. And when I talk about these, I'm just going to recap on these, the fear of being seen and heard, this imposter syndrome, not being true in your authenticity, not in your true authenticity. Sorry, didn't come out right. Comparison and undercharging for your services. When we talk about these things on how, the witch wound is showing up in your healing business, it is truly holding you back from supporting your soulmate clients, or even calling in the soulmate clients that you are here to do. But when you are not, when you are too busy comparing your life to other people, when you are feeling like, who the fuck am I to even do this, and not even showing up in the first place, or dimming your lights and not being authentic to who you are, we're simply just not showing up in our power. We're giving our power away to outside circumstances. Okay, so let's see. Is your name Mayan or Mayan underscore Los Angeles? So let me know if that's your name so I can address you. So she says, I have a crystal business. I'm afraid that people won't take the transition from crystal to healing business well. Afraid also if I can be a healer at all. I'm doubting my own abilities. Okay, so let me take a drink really quick. Mayan. Perfect. Beautiful. I love that. Like Ryan. Okay, perfect. Yes, I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, so let me ask you a couple of things. So this is more of like the business side of it as well. Like, and this is the first thing that's like dropping in for you. So do you have two separate pages? Do you have like one that's crystal business and one that's a healing business? So I'm curious on that for you, but also I am, let's see, I'm afraid that people won't take the transition from crystal to healing business well. So when I work with my clients on this, it's like, well, okay, why? Why are we afraid that they won't take that transition well? And where in ourselves are we not taking it well? What is the fear within ourselves that it's like, well, if I transition to this, it's not going to be received? How can we bring this back to ourselves? And I really feel like, for me personally, I feel that if you have like, it's like a solid like crystal business, like it's, it's itself, having a whole different Instagram page. However, if it's like, well, I'm selling crystals and I'm doing coaching, why can't you do both? Why not both? Entrepreneur gets to be that creative, beautiful experience that we get to provide for ourselves as much as we get to I had a reminder go off, sorry, that we get to provide as much for ourselves as we do our soulmate clients. Okay, planning to add those services to the pages. Okay, so I would love to like actually, if you want to message me, I would love to like actually like visually see this. Because yes, this is something you can absolutely talk about. If you're feeling like there is a cohesiveness that is going on within the two businesses, that you can intermingle them. If it's like, well, actually it would make more sense for me to add a separate page, then you can absolutely do that. But you get to do both. And if it's placed into the forefront of your mind, if it's dropping in for you, it's for a reason. And so definitely, and I'm going to post this to my Instagram page so you can go back to this and like kind of like review the journaling prompts and internalize, like go. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening. My reminder keeps popping up. Okay, so why do you feel that people won't take the transition from the crystal to the healing business well? And where are you struggling with the transition from the crystal to the healing business? Also, why do you feel that you said afraid also if I can be a healer at all. These are also relatable, by the way, and you are not alone with this. So I don't know if I said that out loud or if I just thought it in my head, but clearly I just need to say that again. You are not alone. Like, this is so common. And so, afraid if I can be a healer at all. And so is it like what are the fears that are coming up for you around being a healer? Whoops. Let me see if I can scroll back down. You're welcome. What are the fears that are coming up for you around being a healer? And I would also encourage you to say, where are they coming from? You can see if they came from this lifetime. And it's also, scroll again. It's also a really good opportunity for us to be like, well, is that actually true? Is it actually true that I can't be a healer? Is it true that I have these abilities? When we start, what I've seen from teaching healing modality all last year was that when we start to doubt our healing abilities, that's when they just are like, right? They just like, how does the quantum field work, right? It reflects back to us what it is that we think and feel, more so what we feel. So if we're feeling that sense of doubt of our own abilities, what's the quantum field going to do? What's the universe going to do? It's going to reflect for you more proof of that doubt, right? So how can we flip the script for this? How can you look for proof of how your abilities are actually into play? It is so fun. Like, let me have you do like a rampage, something similar to like this. It is so fun when the universe winks at me, my creepy wink. I tried to wink last night. I was dying on a coaching call. I was like, this is my creepy wink from the universe. was like, that did not happen. Apparently, I'm just not good at winking. I'm going to stop doing that. But anyway, so it's like, I love when the universe winks at me and shows me proof of my abilities. And it is so fun to see how my abilities are unfolding, how I'm actually seeing them happen. And then remind yourself of the proof that you already have. This can be journaling, this can be verbal, either one that works best for you. I personally am more of a journaler. I like to write. But rampages are fun too. I'm a Gemini, so I do like to talk. Pull out your journal and ask yourself, or reflect back on, when have my abilities come through? What are the abilities that I know that I have? And, maybe for me, this looks like intuitive hits. It looks like, this nudge to do this certain thing, or, like when I'm talking to people, even in the DMs, I will sometimes just get something that comes through that's just channeled, and people will be like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, whoa, I don't know. Here it is. Here you go. And so, those are just a couple of different examples, like these intuitive abilities that you have, or maybe, if you're certified in Reiki, or your own, you don't necessarily need to be certified to be able to do healing. Some of us come here on this lifetime with our souls knowing how to do this. Yep. That was all that wanted to come through. Let me see. Okay. So let me know how that supports you. Like I said, come back to this video and do some of the journaling prompts and reflect back on it. Sometimes it's easier to have that back and forth dialogue as well, to really dive into what it is that is coming up. But as a general, those are that's a really great space to start in. Morgan said, I remember the first time I told my fiance I can communicate with spirits. I honestly nearly cried when I told him, but it was so nice to get it out and open, and he doesn't care. Right? Sometimes they're like, oh. I remember the first time, like when I started putting crystals in my bra, my husband and I are high school sweethearts. This year we've been together for 20 years. It's not how long we've been married though. But anyway, so, he was like, what the fuck? I was like, it's fine. This is the new normal. And now it's like, whatever. Like I would start to share my abilities. And it was really hard in the beginning because I didn't want to be judged. But I'm like, he's my husband. Like if he doesn't fully accept me, then, like it means nothing about myself. I make it mean nothing about myself. It's not information. I'm not receiving information. When someone judges us as a healer, we are not receiving information about ourselves. That is not our truth. That is not who we are. That is their perception of us. Period. So, I'm so glad that you were able to open up to him, Morgan. And of course he was just like, oh, whatever, right? Yes, perfect. Perfect, Mayan. Okay, so I've got to hop off here. I'm hoping to do another, I don't know if I'll be able to tomorrow. Maybe Sunday or Monday. Just watch my stories, you guys. Because I want to talk about, there's a couple other things that I was getting an intuitive hit on. Fears was the big one that came through in the witch wounds. So if you want to dive deeper into the witch wounds, how it's affecting your healing business, and how to really shift these and alchemize them so you can really bring in the abundance that you desire, the soulmate clients that you desire, and have this healing business that you know that you're here to have, and supporting the people that you know you're here to support. DM me Masterclass, and I can get you the information, or you can click the link in my bio. It's there as well. And I also, so that is on next Wednesday, January 11th. There is a replay available if you can't hop on live. And what else do you need to know about that? Oh, it's lifetime of the class access. So once the once the masterclass is complete, and I'm able to get it up onto my website, you'll be able to log in and be able to watch it. You'll be able to do the past life regression. If you want to tap back into that, I'll have the journaling prompts there for you as well. So you can really be able to take full advantage of that and come back to it, because I really feel like these are timeless. And we know as healers, like, it comes in layers, right? Healing comes in layers. So I'll have more topics that I want to talk about next week as well. The other thing I wanted to let you know is Stripped Away the Rising Phoenix is my 16-week group coaching program. We were going to dive fucking deep into things like the witch wounds, fears, imposter syndrome. Let me tell you, mindset, energetics of hiding as a healer, clearing the good girl energy. Let's see. The divine masculine and feminine energies, money mindset, stepping into abundance as a healer, and so much more. I'm going to have some guest speakers who are healers as well, who have walked this path. And this is a deeply healing program. And this is the program to help you go from hidden healer to here the fuck I am healer, where we will have weekly calls. I'm going to do 2 calls a week. You can hop on one or both. It doesn't really matter, because I do have some people that are overseas as well, so I want to make sure I'm hitting both time zones. You'll have private access to Voxer, so you'll be able to message me in a group chat, so we can I can really support you in between the calls. This is where the growth happens. This is where the healing happens. We are going to strip away all the layers that have been placed on you from this lifetime and lifetimes before, and we are going to help you step into your power as a woman, as a healer, and be able to create that liberation and freedom and abundance that you desire. So if that sounds like, ooh, yeah, message me, Rising Phoenix. It's also pinned to the top of my Instagram, so you can read more about that. Mayan, I'm so glad. I kept hearing I needed to go live today. I've been hearing it for a few days, but today was so loud. I was eating lunch and it was like screaming at me. I'm like, okay. So it must have been for you. And anyone else that was like, yeah, this was awesome. So I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I will chat with you very soon, and we'll see you next time.